We believe the mRNA technology will help solve other public health challenges too, especially those peculiar to our tropical environment.
President Buhari renews commitment to strengthen national health security as Nigeria celebrates World Wild Polio-Free status.
We cannot continue doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result.
Planned expansive reform of federal civil service gets boost with receipt of reports on Oransayo draft white paper. Also tonight, more university-based unions suspend industrial action. Hello, this is NTA Network News reaching you live in Abuja. I am Jumai Yusuf. John Adams will be joining us from Lagos in the course of the news broadcast. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has reaffirmed of Nigeria's preparedness to build strong bilateral partnership with well-intentioned organizations towards the manufacturing of items critical to the nation's health security. The president said this while granting audience to the executive chairman of Kenup Foundation, Hom Keller, and representative of biotech, the mRNA vaccine patent holder in Africa. State House correspondent Adamu Sombo has the details.
The executive officials of Kenup Foundation and BioNTech are in Nigeria on exploratory visit to assess areas of scientific cooperation and collaboration towards supporting the development and manufacture of new vaccines in the country.
We are here, Excellency, to learn from you and to explore what opportunities there may be in this domain, and you can rely on us. We will be delighted, and we are delighted to support your good work and your important causes. Our joint aim is to establish research partnerships, so to see how to contribute to vaccine equity and national independence by seeing for a manufacturing scheme that would be suitable for the Nigerian economy and health system.
President Muhammadu Buhari was emphatic that Nigeria seriously values the prospects of scientific collaboration with reputable organizations that can pay special attention to the opportunities and potentials in the country. This, he said, is imperative in view of the disconnect Nigeria and other middle-income countries suffered from global public health solutions, especially at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The fallout of the disconnect was the so-called vaccine nationalism that saw wealthy countries, all with manufacturing capacity, keeping essential commodities like diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines to themselves alone. We now appreciate the need for global decentralization and diversification of manufacturing capacity of items critical for public health security.
The president said Nigeria, with an estimated population of 214 million, as well as an attractive market potential and suitable destination for investment, looks forward to receiving a commitment to expand collaboration towards achieving its goal of developing capacities for research, development, and manufacturing. He described as impressive the numerous possibilities that abound in the mRNA technology.
Kenup Foundation will find in Nigeria a suitable research and development environment in terms of human resources, expertise, and endemic deadly disease challenges that require research to help to eradicate those new vaccines. Our reputable scientific community has capacity to engage with you meaningfully in all aspects of research and to add value to our joint effort. We believe the mRNA technology will help solve other public health challenges too, especially those peculiar to our tropical environment.
President Buhari told his guests that they will also find in Nigeria a long tradition in vaccine manufacturing and laboratories for microbiological research, biosafety level 3 labs, and a vibrant health ethics research council. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Adopting a collective consultative process to develop the new education sector strategy plan 2023 to 2039 was top among other issues addressed by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the launch of the report on the independent evaluation of the SDG 3 and SDG 4 in Nigeria. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi tells us more.
For the adoption of the agenda and the SDGs, we have set for ourselves a vision to end extreme poverty and to safeguard our planet by the year 2030.
The Vice President says the new education policies must recognize the structural barriers that keep children out of school, such as economic hardship, distance from school, insecurity, and unsafe conditions, as well as social-cultural barriers.
Achieving inclusive sustainable development is an objective that aligns closely with our own government's desire to bring 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years. It is for this reason that the federal government of Nigeria established a number of programs to support the acceleration of the achievements of the SDGs.
The report launched noted that education financing is much lower than in other African countries and that transparency around education budgeting spending needs to improve.
Findings contained in these strategic evaluations reinforce the evidence for improving health and education outcomes in Nigeria and highlight how all stakeholders, governments, development partners, and civil society can best address systemic gaps and challenges. So this official launch today comes with a responsibility for us to intentionally use the key findings of the two evaluations to strengthen policies that support the achievement of the SDGs.
Implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals Nigeria began shortly after the adoption of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development by world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly in September of 2015. From the banquet hall of the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
More failures have emerged on government's intention for an expansive reform of the Federal Civil Service with a call on the National Assembly to streamline the creation of new parastatals, agencies and commissions through legislative bills in order to cut down on the cost of governance. This is part of the recommendation contained in a draft white paper presented to the federal government by the committee reviewing the creation of new federal government parastatals, agencies and commissions after the Oronsaya report of 2012. Mitara Ekmen reports.
The Steve Oronsaya Committee report, which sought a reduction of government agencies with overlapping functions, has been severally reviewed by different committees in the last 10 years. To produce the latest white paper, a content analysis of the legal framework of the parastatals, agencies and commissions under review was carried out by this 8-member committee in the quest to reduce cost of governance.
Most of the laws use agency, commission and board interchangeably. For instance, where the organization is defined as a commission, we will notice that the provisions of the law did not support the structure of a commission. In this regard, where the committee recommended change in status/name, amendment of the Act and law is also recommended accordingly. The committee also observed that most of the agencies created, especially under education and health, were bills that emanated from the National Assembly. It is therefore important to engage and dialogue with the National Assembly to generate an understanding to streamline the creation of new PSAs.
The federal government, on its part, is looking for avenues to cut down on overhead expenditure in the face of current economic realities.
We cannot continue doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. The report of Oronsaya, along with other reports, will be considered. And I can give you that assurance that the President Muhammadu Buhari's government would act on your recommendations along with the other recommendations that were accepted.
It is expected that the recommendations that are low-hanging fruits will be expeditiously implemented following the approval of the white paper. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Let's bring you up to date with other news. The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NTA, has promised to work with the National Steel Council to revive the Ajaokuta Steel Plant. Executive Vice Chairman of NTA, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, made the commitment at the maiden retreat of the Steel Council in Abuja. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Ajaokuta Steel Plant, a vast complex, sits on 24,000 hectares of land and cost the federal government in the 80s $8 billion to build. Under this roof lies 43 plants, 40 already completed, from steel mills with complete conveyor belts, furniture, power plants, but the dust tells of decades of disuse. Equipment made in the defunct Soviet Union, a reminder of long-gone empire.
I know when and why National Iron Ore Mining Company, the plant was established and why it has not worked.
Between 1982 and 1983, Muhammad Sani Haruna was an electrical maintenance technologist at the Ajaokuta Steel Plant, now a professor and executive vice chairman of NASINI. Here presenting a paper on iron and steel development for sustainable economic development in Nigeria at the National Steel Council Retreat, Abuja. A presentation that comes with hand of fellowship for the Ajaokuta Steel Project.
NASINI, we will seek our board approval to invest in any venture targeted at producing iron and steel products from Nigerian raw materials with private sector and the council. I know that the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, of which I am a council member, has developed and submitted a comprehensive document to government on the way forward for the Ajaokuta Steel Company.
But we need to put it within an articulated, template to make sure that the steel sector is coordinated.
Well, let me leave it to it, please.
Just a flying visit, the Minister of Mines and Steel told them at the retreat, but not without an assurance again.
These guys have hit the ground running and they're doing the work, and I have no doubt that the country will be better for it.
A partnership that has rekindled hopes in the manufacturing industry. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
The health sector is in celebration mode as today, August 25th, 2022, is the third year anniversary of Nigeria and the African region certification of wild poliovirus-free status. As key players driving the polio program in Nigeria celebrate this historic global health milestone in Abuja, attention is currently focused on sustaining the nation's polio-free status. Oluseyi Adegbo has details.
After more than 2 decades of intensive government-led massive vaccination campaigns, Nigeria got certified as wild poliovirus-free nation on August 25, 2020. Efforts have seen the West African nation continue to vaccinate millions of vulnerable children, making huge investments to save millions of them from the preventable disease. Commemorating the Day of Polio Eradication, Nigerian government, development partners, and other key players in the country's vaccination program are here to examine progress and strengthen partnership to ensure the status remains intact.
Although we are celebrating this milestone today, we cannot let our guard down as we need to continuously strengthen our routine immunization to guard against importation from other countries.
No doubt great investments and sacrifices are made to achieve the successes, and this day is also a time to acknowledge these actors for helping the polio vaccination program.
We are the closest to our people, and we've been able to rally around all of them and to let them know the essence of vaccination and so far so good, it has actually worked. As long as we continue to build up population immunity, as long as parents and guardians take their kids for vaccination, then we will continue to fend off any potential importation of the wild polio virus.
While the wild polio virus-free status is seen as a battle already won, the war against polio still continues, and the focus is on delivering polio drops to local communities across the country. Olusheye Ediagbo, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We take off. Thanks for joining us, and to some cheering news now. We're hearing that the National Association of Academic Technologies, NAT, has suspended its 5-month-old strike effective from midnight Friday, August 26, 2022 for an initial 3 months to enable government to address all the issues at stake. A statement by the president of the union, Ibeji Nwakoma, directs all NAT members in tertiary institutions to resume work with effect from the stated date. The union has also requested its members to attend to final year project students and researchers with ongoing research activities, as well as those with unfinished practical works. NAT, however, rejected government's position to revoke the no work, no pay rule, claiming the union complied with all laid down procedures before embarking on the industrial action. Chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, while applauding the commitment of a vast majority of Nigerians in the diaspora to the country's development, has also warned Nigerian students to avoid countries with human rights violation records. She made the observation while addressing the 48th edition of the executive briefing of the press organized by the Presidential Communication Team. State House correspondent Jide Onifade was there.
Walking with shoulders high.
Thank you very much.
Chairman of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission says Nigerians at home should be proud of what others in the diaspora are doing, describing them as talented and helpful to the nation.
So it's not enough to be the best in the world, the most educated immigrants in America or anywhere in the world. What are you doing to your home country? And we're glad that with NIDCOM in the last 3 years, we've achieved a lot of engagement and successes with our diaspora, being able to give back to Nigeria and getting more involved in investments. We've talked about remittances. I mean, everybody thought it was going to go down, but it went up.
Advising these Nigerians to always respect the laws of their host countries, Abike Dabiri Erewa says these will further promote the image of Nigeria.
Us at home, Nigerians in the diaspora, we all need to work together to build this beautiful country of our dreams. President Buhari has provided the platform. What we need to do is ensure that we manifest that platform, we make it efficient, we make it work, and ensure that truly, if our greatest assets are our people, we need to do something about it, we need to build it, and we need to ensure that Nigerians are truly who we are, the best anywhere in the world.
She also presents some publications on the activities of the Commission to the Presidential Media Team, edited by Femi Adesina. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Let's talk economy. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, is optimistic about the fortunes of the e-Naira following the introduction of the mobile short message code for the digital currency. Speaking in a message at the official unveiling of the e-Naira USSD code, *997# in Kano, Emefiele says it will assist in making financial transactions easier and effective in payment system. Mohammed Ali reports.
From October 2021, when e-Naira was launched by the Central Bank of Nigeria, more than 840,000 subscribers downloaded the e-currency app, with about 270,000 active wallets comprising over 252,000 consumer wallets. The volume and value of transactions on the platform have been remarkable, reaching above 200,000 and 4 billion naira respectively. The aims of that financial innovation include enhancing financial inclusion, supporting poverty reduction, enabling direct welfare disbursement to citizens, as well as supporting resilient payments ecosystem. While unveiling the second phase of the project, which is USSD code *997#, Governor of the Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, represented by the Deputy Governor of Operations, Folashodun Adebisi Shonibi, says the idea is to drive financial inclusion by onboarding unbanked and undeserved users, leveraging on the offline channels.
About 45% of idlers do not have bank accounts. Another 36% are excluded from formal financial services.
Other stakeholders believe that with the new USSD shortcode, most Nigerians, especially rural communities, will now have access to digital system of transaction.
Other USSDs are for your money that is in the bank. This one is like the cash you hold in your pocket. It's guaranteed by Central Bank of Nigeria, which means you can't lose your money.
The awareness campaign on the new system of financial inclusion will last for 5 days in Kano. Muhammad Ali, NTA News.
The federal government has ratified its membership of the Budapest Convention to enhance international cooperation in the fight against cybercrime. This follows the June 29, 2022 approval by the Federal Executive Council and the signing of the Instrument of Accession by President Muhammadu Buhari, which was subsequently transmitted to the Council of Europe on July 6 this year. A statement from the Office of the National Security Advisor notes that Nigeria had enacted the Cybercrimes Prohibition and Prevention Act 2015 as the legal framework for the codification of criminal activities in the cyberspace, aimed at guaranteeing safe use of the cyberspace and minimize the attendant risks to online platforms as part of efforts to implement the provisions. The federal government also developed a comprehensive national cybersecurity policy and strategy, NCPS 2021. Government also established the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team and the National Digital Forensic Laboratory. Nigeria is to honor the invitation of Budapest as a new entrant amongst the 66 member countries. 5 ballistic gunboats fabricated by the Nigerian Navy shipyard have been launched in Port Harcourt. Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo says the launch of the second series of gunboats is a testament to the emergence of the Nigerian military as a key player in global military hardware manufacturing. Kingsley Amaju reports.
The 5 semi-ballistic protected gunboats, locally fabricated by the Nigerian Navy shipyard, is designed to support military patrol, law enforcement and search and rescue operation in Nigeria's backwater operations.
It is the largest and most stable versatile gunboats in the country today. They are equipped with state-of-the-art conventional and conventional equipment necessary for any boats. It will add to the already existing fleet of boats in sentiment and water in the fight against criminality within the waters.
Chief of the Defense Staff, represented by Rear Admiral Vincent Okeke at the unveiling of the gunboats, remarked that Nigeria's defense headquarters is poised to providing leadership and infrastructure support towards the protection of national assets in Niger Delta region.
In Nigeria, it has brought more civil gunboats for our forces was informed by the need to provide adequate protection to our country in the discharge of the responsibilities of the armed forces of Nigeria.
He is optimistic that with Nigeria's leading role in military hardware fabrication, more foreign exchange will be conserved with national security strengthened. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Still on security matters, an end may be in sight to the long-standing boundary dispute between Nigeria and Cameroon, with delegations from both countries holding advanced talks towards finding permanent solutions to some of the unsolved issues. Charles Alpha reports.
Nigeria, Cameroon are 2 siblings separated by boundaries and language, but caught up at the crossroad of the Bakassi Peninsula conflict. Several agreements were reached after the ruling of the International Court of Justice, but there are other areas yet to be resolved by Nigeria and Cameroon.
Now, the issues have been the difficulties by the parties to agree on the correct interpretation of the ICJ judgment.
At the session of the Nigerian-Cameroon Mixed Commission holding in Abuja, delegations from both countries are looking for ways to permanently resolve problems in 3 key areas left unresolved.
We directed the subcommission on demarcation SCD during the last session to visit and resolve the disagreement in Mabas, Rumsiki, and the Anglo-German Pillar 8. The visits were carried out, and that the issue of Mabas has been wholeheartedly sorted out and resolved.
Leader of the Cameroonian delegation, Zoa Michel, and Chairman Mixed Commission, Mahamat Saleh, were thrilled by the positive discussions between the parties and are confident a lasting solution will be reached before its 20th anniversary later this year. Charles Alpha, NTA.
More on NTA Network News. Hingino is standing by in Lagos. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Jummai. State governors can provide good and sustainable governance when commissioners for budget and economic planning draw up budgetary process that is actionable and implementable for the good of the masses. Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, gave the advice at a 2-day conference for states commissioners for budget and economic planning in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports that commissioners from 36 states of the country attended the conference.
Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, says commissioners for budget and planning must uphold prudence and accountability so that budget planning can be implementable. He, however, stressed that one of the objectives of the conference is to deepen collaboration between the federal government and the states in implementing National Development Plan and economic recovery initiatives.
The synergy from all types of government is required to achieve the logical aspirations of the plan. In this regard, it is essential for the states to be aligned with the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu advised that, in addition to budget planning, the commissioners must establish an independent monitoring mechanism to assess the performance of the budget in ministries, departments, and agencies of government.
Fairness, firmness, discipline, you really need to be on top of the class. May I solicit for your maximum support to enable us to succeed in the task of moving our individual states and the Federation to a.
It is the 15th edition of the Commissioners for Budget and Economic Planning Conference. It had the theme, Human Capital Development, a panacea for sustainable development. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, has inaugurated a 45,000-litre water hydrant and 22 trucks to boost operations of the Army. Samuel Johnson reports that the ceremony was during his visit to Lagos.
The arrival of the Chief of Army Staff at the 70 Command Supply and Transport Apapa was to see officers and men whose commitment to duty prompted the Army Chief to ask for the refurbishment of these vehicles from the state of disrepair to wear a new look, while the dilapidated structure supplying water gave way for a modern hydrant.
To commission this facility for the use of our personnel, the protection of our facilities, and those of other Nigerians, to the glory of God.
For the host, the water hydrant will serve the military formations and the civilian population in the area, while the trucks are to be in the pool for use on the directive of the Chief of Army Staff.
This pillar hydrant system is comprised of 45,000 litre overhead tank, 20 horsepower automatic hydrant pump, and necessary pillar hydrant components. This platform has the capacity to combat fire within our AORs within a distance of up to 200 meters without the use of a fire truck.
Officers from army formations in Lagos and Ogun State were on the entourage. In Lagos, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for a break. The news.
Thanks for joining us. A policy dialogue championed by the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, KURU-JOS, is deliberating on best approaches to entrench practices that will strengthen health governance at the local government level. The policy dialogue, which is supported by several development partners, is in tandem with the area of focus for NIM's Senior Executive Course 44 participants. Indayang Andayamba Gang reports.
The high-level policy brought together health experts, academics, and policymakers from the national and sub-national levels to brainstorm towards profiling solutions and recommendations that will address challenges and drivers of health governance for implementation at the third tier of government. To this end, the Director General NIMS and Director of Project Development Research and Project Center notes that the absence of planning for health and resource diversion as well as autonomy at the local government level have posed great challenge to achieving the universal health coverage.
We are at this time looking at how governance at local level can possibly be used to impact most effectively the healthcare sector at the grassroots.
We must begin to be intentional about how health and health planning is operated through federal, state, and local government levels.
Other speakers harp on the need to have clear definition of roles and responsibilities of actors in the health sector.
Have a unit of accountability that is actually responsible for health. Have a knowledge system. The knowledge system is what actually defines the needs that people have. It's also what offers the solutions to those needs.
What we usually do is simply to support implementation of all these health policies.
Participants are hoping that the outcome of the dialogue will be included in the Senior Executive Course 44 report that will be presented at the Presidential Parley. From News Kuru, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
Reactions continue. Benny Adams is here. Hi, Benny.
Thank you, Jumai, and welcome to business. I'll start by telling you that Nigeria and Rwanda are the two best negotiators in the process of eliminating tariff barriers at the African Continental Free Trade Market. In addition to Nigeria being the largest economy in Africa, this is the reason why the Ethiopian Minister of Trade and Regional Integration, Meskel Chala, is visiting Nigeria.
We want to learn what you did institutionally, what you did in selecting products, the whole process. That's all as a result of many years of hard work.
The minister says the ministry's trade directorates, Office of Trade Negotiation, and the National Action Committee on AfCFTA are largely responsible for the success story at the continental market. Both parties pledged to strengthen trade relations for economic growth. And Director General Nigeria Copyright Commission, Dr. John Asen, is advocating partnership between the Pan-African Writers Association, POWER, with heads of copyright offices in Africa to strengthen the copyright system and ensure that authors get adequate returns on their intellectual investment. Secretary General of POWER, Dr. Wale Akediwa, on a visit to NCC in Abuja, commended the recent enactment of the Copyright Bill by the National Assembly. While appreciating the Nigerian government for the feat, he assured of the association's support to any action that would improve the lot of writers in Africa. He observed that the constraint of copyright infringement, piracy, and plagiarism were hindering the writers from pursuing their writing careers successfully. And taking a look at the market, investors gained 532 billion naira as stocks improved further on Thursday, with the market growing by 2.03%. owing to half-year corporate actions. The market's all-share index and capitalization increased further to 49,661.87 basis points and 28.7 billion naira. In 3,515 deals, investors exchanged 226.4 million shares, valued at 2.7 billion naira. Mutual benefit, FBN Holdings and UBA were top 3 traded stocks. Network news continue.
Thanks for joining us. Nigeria, just like many other African countries, currently face socio-economic challenges dating back several years. Speaking at the Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida dialogue held in Abuja, experts in economics and policy development identified the need for emergence of credible leaders at all levels who will drive sustainable change and innovation on the continent.
It will be difficult for us as a nation until we begin to see skills as the educational needs that we have, until we begin to target the new world than the old world that the colonial masters left for us.
So we urge that there should be real political will on the part of government to make sure that the issues of insecurity are properly addressed.
The policy dialogue is in honor of former military President General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. Now, the prevalence of domestic staff abuse and a rallying call for prosecution of perpetrators are some failures that emerged earlier today in Abuja. It was at an event by the Ministry of Information and Culture to mark the International Day for the Remembrance of Slave Trade and its abolition. Joseph Osen reports on the theme of the event, Modern Day Slavery, a critical appraisal of domestic staff in Nigeria.
They are victims of domestic abuse, so their faces are hidden to protect their dignity. Their voices are a reminder of the anguish and pain associated with this form of abuse. These are just a few among modern-day slavery unleashed in form of human and sex trafficking, forced labor, domestic servitude, child soldiers, and many more.
Over 40.3 million people are estimated to be victims worldwide.
Government agencies, NGOs, youth associations, educational institutions, students, artists, the academia, and the general public to draw attention to these irreversible occurrences.
23rd of August, 1791, saw the beginning of the uprising in today's Haiti that played a crucial role in the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade, and by 1814, many countries had passed laws abolishing the evil trade. Centuries after, the dehumanizing act of slavery is taking unprecedented dimension.
Behind the facts and figures are millions of human stories, stories of untold sufferings and pains, stories of families and communities ripped apart. This is not that can't perform with little effort. Let's unite together, fight a breastplate against the awful evils of modern-day slavery.
The goal is to inscribe the tragedy of the slave trade in the memory of all and save victims like these children. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
That's it on Network News tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Jummai Yusuf.